What's interesting about the Fresh Prince is, you look at Will Smith now, and he's, a mega movie star and so forth.
Yeah.
But at the time, I don't think he had any other acting gigs, right? He was Fresh Prince the rapper.
Right, right. He was the
He was Parents Just Don't
I was just gonna
Understand.
say that he was Parents Just Don't Understand.
Yeah, he was. I think I could beat Mike Tyson.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it was kind of sort of poppy hip hop. I mean, I think he had won the first hip hop, rap Grammy.
Yeah.
But like, he was really a very lighthearted
Yeah.
rapper type.
Right.
So when I originally saw the Fresh Prince, I'm like, what's this rapper doing acting? Like I didn't get it initially.
Yeah. No, I
But-
had the
but
same attitude.
Well, but I guess Quincy Jones got it. Like, I mean, because I guess Will was sort of like the driving force behind the show of how he kind of brought it to the networks and so forth.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, I mean, I know Benny Medina. It was based on Benny Medina's life, so
Right.
it was Benny too, a lot of that, and I had the same attitude. I think I knew him from Parents Just Don't Understand and all this stuff, and I was like, it's a rapper doing a TV show, what? Yeah, I was just like, what? And then you quickly catch on to how charming he is, but you don't realize that I mean, nobody could have called it, I don't think. I mean, somebody probably called it, but I couldn't have called that he was going to become this huge, this huge thing that he is now. This
Yeah.
Will Smith.
So you guys, you get cast for the role. You meet all the other characters on the show. You guys start working on it. Did you think you had something special on your hands, or did you think, okay, this might last a season and I'll have to go back and look for another job?
Well, when we started, we had incredible chemistry from day one. I mean, we liked each other a lot from day one. And then I think we also, it's easier for me to recognize now how good the chemistry was. I didn't have a lot of experience to call upon to say, wow, this isn't like anything else. Because I hadn't done that much. And I certainly hadn't done anything that lasted over a long period of time. When I first did it, though, we shot the pilot, and everyone was real excited about it. And I went back to work, and Will and a bunch of guys used to come to outside of my work, like on Sundays when I'd be right before we'd open, and I had to do book work and stuff like that, and sitting at the bar doing book work, and they would come to the window and knock and laugh at me. And I always thought it was the funniest thing that I went back to my hostessing job, But I didn't know what was going to happen, So I went back to work, When we got picked up, of course, then it was like, I'm out of here. But
So the role of Hillary, how much of that was, written by the writers versus, okay, I'm going to inject my own personality into this, and I'm, even though you wrote this, I think this is going to sound better.
it was, the writers wrote it. The writers wrote, when they first developed, the actors always will influence a character that's ongoing. I think as writers they start writing to a person. They envision this person when they write, and the new writers come on and they only know this person, so they write to the person. Like, Alfonso as Carlton was a huge example of that, because in the very beginning of Fresh Prince, if you watch them, it's really unclear what Carlton's thing is. And he really started to make that character, he started to define that character very clearly himself, and then the writers had to follow that, and that worked really well for me. When I was auditioning, what they said they wanted in the breakdown was, I think she was a model type. I think she was like a model type thing. And I remember when I first was called in for the part, I said, oh, this is ridiculous. I'm not a model type. I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I had to make it my own. And I think by giving her these huge affectations and things that weren't written, that wasn't scripted, this kind of attitude and, the whole like, oh, daddy, that stuff. That was stuff that I kind of brought to it that made the lines work and the character work for me. And then I'm sure as it went on, that as they were writing, we were working together in that way. But all the lines, the zingers and stuff that Hillary had, I didn't come up with those. I had the delivery, but they wrote those lines.
Gotcha. Now with Alfonso and the Carlton character.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he do a Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial?
Yes, look that up. It's great. It's so cute. He's so cute.
Right. So he was, I guess, he did like a moonwalk.
He moonwalks and he bumps into Michael Jackson and.
Right.
Yeah.
And this was when Michael Jackson was at his absolute height. This was a Thriller Michael Jackson. This wasn't like later on.
This is Pepsi.
When,
This is Pepsi. This
is Pepsi.
This is Pepsi.
Pepsi, Thriller Michael Jackson.
Yes.
So Alfonso got the biggest look any actor could possibly get.
Yeah.
Pretty much at that point.
Yeah.
And then he went on to do Fresh Prince. I'm not quite sure what he did in between that.
He did Silver Spoons. He did that TV show Silver Spoons with Ricky Schroeder.
Oh, right.
He was on that, and then he did some of Different World. And so he came to us right from doing some part. I think he had like a recurring role or something, I think, on Different World. And then he came to Fresh Prince.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the first time you saw the Carlton dance, what'd you think?
Oh, well, it was just, it was silly. It was very silly. And, it was just very Alfonso goofy, The
odd part is that seems to be the thing that I think has lived on the most from that show, the Carlton dance.
I think short of the theme song, I think the theme song and the Carlton dance are the two things that have really had their own life. It's true. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, people, like, if you do it right now and the show's been off the air for so long, there's people that haven't been born, when the show was on the air. Everyone knows it. But
what's funny? When I see it, because I see people trying, doing it, whatever. But if I look back at an episode and I see Alfonso doing it, it's the joy. It's Carlton's joy doing that dance is what made that dance happen. That's what made it like really funny and affect people. I think he's so stupid when he does that dance. He's so goofy and funny. And that he really sold that dance. It's cute though, because you know where he got it? I mean, I think it was a combination of things, but I know part of where he got it was, remember Courtney Cox in the Bruce Springsteen video before Friends? Did you ever see it?
I think I know what you're talking
about. He pulls her out of the audience and she comes up and dances with him on stage. And Alfonso kind of went, he kind of did this.
So it's a 15-year-old white girl dance, pretty much.
If you watch that video, pull that video up, and you're gonna go, "Oh, I get it."
At the height of Fresh Prince, you guys were getting 15 million viewers. 15 million.
Is that true?
Viewers, and you guys did 140 episodes.
Okay.
How does that feel when you look at that?
It's weird to hear those numbers, because I'll tell you, doing it, and I'm not kidding, it felt like we did it in front of a live audience, but that it was like between 200 to 300 people, 200 people maybe, so 2 to 3 in live audience. But it just felt like it was just us and those folks there. A lot of energy, really fun, but I didn't feel like, millions of people are watching the show. And when I walked out in the street, my life was not like millions of people are watching me on TV. It wasn't like that. I remember Will said to us once early on, he said, because he had already experienced huge fame with DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, right? So he said, first thing you're going to find is you can't go to the mall. And we kind of went, ha ha, we kind of laughed it off. And I kept going to the mall. And I didn't have a problem. And because we were not that huge a deal. We really weren't for a long time. It wasn't until we went into syndication that all of a sudden things started to change. And that took 3 years before we were in syndication. And I swear, once the show went off is when I really felt it. after 6 years and we were off the air, all of a sudden I started feeling eyes on me and stuff like that. But before, it happened so rarely before. It was weird. So it didn't feel like all these numbers that you're saying, you know. And I was having fun. Work was not hard. It was such a joy to go to work every day and laugh,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I'd heard that after season 4, it was supposed to end, but the fans had an uproar over it ending.
I don't know.
Getting extended.
I didn't know anything about that. I never heard anything about that. My experience was in the 5th season. I think it was around the end, like around December or something. Is my memory? I might be wrong, but I was in the 5th season that Will pulled the cast and the crew aside, and he told us, because he was always going upstairs in meetings all the time, you know. And he came down, he'd had a big meeting, and he said, we're going to finish this year, 5th season, we're going to do one more year, and then we're going to be done. And he told everybody in advance because he wanted everyone to have a chance, like he told the crew in advance because he wanted everybody to have a chance to get another gig, you know, have plenty of time. So that's how I knew it. And it was nice because I knew other people who had been on shows where they found out in the paper, you know, the morning paper that they were canceled. You know, that sucks. I mean, that's no way to do it.